Many people believe that the so-called decisive moment arrives unbidden and that it's a matter of chance. While that might be true in some cases, I do not believe that it's true all the time. Most of the time, you need to actually stand and wait and be patient and look around. Good afternoon, everyone, or hello, everyone. My name is Rajiv Chopra, and I am speaking from the Dusty Mike Chronicles. I'm standing at Janpath in New Delhi. It's an unusually pleasant day, and it's going to remain pleasant for the next few days before the heat hits us again. So, what's really happening? I'm standing in the shade. The breeze is cool, and the sky is blue, which is unusual in Delhi. The people or the sellers who occupy the pavement, and we have a fairly broad pavement here on Janpath, they've set up their wares. Shoppers are walking around. There are a couple of empty ice cream stalls nearby. The stuff they sell hasn't changed much in the last 40 years. And of course, there's a person who decided that he must drive his scooter onto the pavement. So while we have regulations in India, nobody follows the regulations, or not enough people follow the regulations. But let's come back to the concept of the decisive moment. I believe that when you are out taking a photograph, you should avoid putting your camera to the face as soon as you reach the scene. Your camera is a physical barrier between you and what's happening out there. And when you look through the camera's viewfinder, or when you view a scene exclusively from your the screen at the back behind your camera, then you're only looking at a small section of what's happening. Whereas when we actually look around, our head moves, our eyes flick up and down, they flick from left to right, forming images, and our brain forms a composite image from all of these various sensations that we see and from the action that we see unfolding before us. Being out at the scene is not just a visual experience. It's a tactile experience as well. Sometimes you touch another person's hand. You might touch the bark of a tree. You might feel the breeze on your face, and the breeze may be cool like it is now, or it can be hot and dusty, which happens very often when you go into the villages, and of course in certain parts of the country as well, or in certain parts of the city as well. It's oral, as in you hear sounds. You hear sounds of people shouting, you hear sounds of the sounds of the traffic, you can hear the breeze, you can listen to the sound of street vendors preparing their street stuff, and you can listen to the sound of people chomping on street food. It's also, and I'm going to use the word nasal because I'm missing the word for the sensory perception that relates to the nose, but you smell the street smells. Whether it is the smell of the person next to you, maybe he's sweating, maybe he has smelly feet. You smell the food that's being cooked, you smell the diesel, And if it's just rained, you smell the smell of the wet earth. And I believe that you need to kind of give yourself that time to let the overall sensation of the scene in front of you, and this scene in front of you can be the street, it can be the forest, it can be a landscape, it can be whatever. But you need to let the overall sensations, or the composite whole of the sensations, visual, oral, tactile, pertaining to smell, everything kind of helps create your mood. And as you stand around and look around, you start to see what's happening in front of you. And you start to see action unfolding. It can be boring at times because, I'm watching these two guys taking selfies and photographs of each other. Is that something which is a great story? Maybe not, because it's been done to death. Is the fake bonhomie of these people something that you can capture? Or can you capture them from a different angle? So for instance, I've got these guys now with their backs to me. Is there a story photographing the backs of people who are taking selfies? They put their arms around each other and then they walk on. Do you pay attention to the different gaits of people? Everyone walks differently. Some people walk straight. Some people have this bodybuilder walk. Some people flop and walk. What do you do? Do you observe the sellers and the buyers as they engage in their dance or their pre-purchase dance? When they negotiate, they dance, they haggle, and sometimes the sale gets executed and sometimes not. You will only understand what's happening in front of you if you allow yourself the time to wait and to observe. Don't take your camera out. The moment you take your camera out, if you take your camera out as soon as you arrive, you announce to the world that a photographer has arrived. I'm standing here with my Zoom recorder, and there are people who are looking at me curiously because they kind of wonder who this person is. Is he some sort of a podcaster? Is he someone from the media? Is he a spy? And I don't know. But the moment you take your camera out, you have announced yourself unequivocally, and everyone says, yay, the photographer has arrived. And sometimes people ask you if you're from the press, because nobody wants a press photographer to photograph them these days. And there are times when you need to just be at the scene, not for 10 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, or you take your camera out after 15 minutes, take a few photographs, put the camera back, and then take it out again. Keep your camera ready. Make sure that you've got the settings, the exposure settings done in advance, because you don't want to be fiddling with your camera when there is action taking place, because if you keep fiddling, then you will find that you're going to miss what's happening, or you'll miss the moment. So when we talk about the decisive moment, there are a couple of aspects. You stand still. You see what's happening. You watch what's happening. And you wait for those moments that tell you something. Sometimes you might walk away after an hour or two with not a single photograph, or with a bunch of absolutely terrible photographs, but that comes with the territory. It doesn't mean that standing around is going to reward you every single time. sometimes not. If you take 200 pictures, maybe one is good, but that's chance. You can reduce the element of chance if you stand still and compose well. Cartier-Bresson had an advantage over us in India because France doesn't have as many people as India, and in those days, even in India, the population was about 20% of what it is today. So the crowds do make composition more difficult, but not impossible. The second part about capturing the decisive moment is being prepared. Your gear must be prepared. If you are not prepared, you will miss the chance. It's almost like a soldier who goes to battle. You don't stand in front of the enemy soldier and say, "Let me look into the manual." You don't do that. Many people think it's extremely boring to be out in the scene just waiting. And yes, it can be boring. I had a podcast long ago when I spoke about boredom, and Osho Rajneesh or whatever his real name was, said that at a certain point in boredom, insight breaks through. It cracks open your skull, and the light of wisdom or insight breaks through and floods your soul. And maybe if you allow yourself to get bored, you will start to see things in a different light altogether. So, now there are three aspects: the active waiting, the active aspect of allowing yourself to become one with the scene, knowing your equipment, and allowing boredom to seep through you. There were a couple of ladies I met 2 years ago, ladies who owned their stalls. They seem to have disappeared, which is a bit sad. It's a tough life on the street. They come in, they are going to pack all their stuff away, put them into warehouses or lease rooms at night to make sure nothing gets stolen. You can understand what's happening when you have genuine respect and empathy for the people who work on the street. And remember, they are here. Whether it's raining, whether it is cold, whether it is hot, whether it is dusty, they are here. You and me are not. So, I hope that my Zoom recorder has recorded everything. Rajiv Chopra from the Dusty Mic Chronicles, signing off. And before I go, I'd like to remind you to put in a like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next week. Ciao.